From the happiest place in the Lone Star State, welcome back to the Talking Mickey Project. TMP is your home for Disney fans of all abilities. Now, it's your host, Emma.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
You sound like Mickey for a second.
Mickey.
Yeah, that I picked.
Well,
Mickey's down here.
okay, whatevers. Hey, y'all. What y'all up to? We are back
Yeah.
with another one to continue Emma's Reaction Summer Series with her interviews. And tonight we are playing back which interview, Emma? Who are we playing back?
Mr. Ron Schneider.
With Ron Schneider. So this was done, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So
Okay,
Dennis says, and away here we go.
Hello,
And there's Emma. How y'all doing tonight? Hopefully y'all are doing well. Tonight we have a very special, hey, there's Emma's mom. We have a very special guest that you are not going to want to miss. And if you have friends that would like this, to see this interview, I would suggest that you share this video with them, share the link, tag them, whatever it takes, because this is a fun one. And we did a great job. And our special guest, Mr. Schneider, did an amazing job.
Yeah, he did.
All right. Hi, Unreal Jelly.
Hey, Goyer.
And hi, Megan. Thanks for coming back. We appreciate it. Yep. And there's Emma's mom saying, hey, Sawyer. And hey, y'all. Well, tonight we do have a great interview. It is with the original Dreamfinder from Epcot Center. And if you're old like me, you probably saw him in the parks live as a walk-around character with his good friend Figment. And the reason that Emma's little thing at the bottom here is purple is in honor of Figment, right? See, she said, I see purple.
Figment ears, huh?
And Ben says, hey, too. He's texting us.
So they can see.
We've got a bunch of folks on, and I know it's going to grow.
She's wearing her Figment ears.
So,
yes,
so it's to honor Figment and to honor Dreamfinder.
I don't think they were out yet, were
so
they?
before we do that, you want to do your support?
Let's get them in time for when you
Give us just a few seconds, guys. As always, we want to thank the people that are supporting Emma and supporting Beyond Disability Texas through doing this. So we are.
What is it called for the fundraising?
Going to. I'm looking for the video. There it is. We're going to be right back.
Green shirt. Oh, she's rocking her blue one this time.
Thank you, Raymar, for your support of the Talking Mickey project. Visit Raymar at 255 East
supported all the announcements
here in San Antonio. Or schedule your blowout at Raymar.com. For the trip by Cricket Langford is our Little Disney organized vacation planner.
Yes,
email
and she's the one who sponsors our Disney card giveaway on Saturday night. That's all we ask for email.
The Beyond Disability podcast was created to help families in Texas to find resources for their special needs family members.
Just have Amazon account because she's got to use
Facebook group. Look for our supporters link in the video description and at TalkingMickey.com. Thank you everyone for supporting the Talking Mickey project.
Yay! When you say that, it makes me want to do like Kermit.
How was it? I see. Hey, there's Miss Bridget and Chris and Miss.
Well, Kermit was more like this.
Why? Because I think if people are not watching, they're going to regret not seeing this. And if for some reason they don't, you can also share this video. So hit that like button.
100 times.
Yeah.
100 times.
Hit that like button, y'all.
And you'll get a heart from us.
This live stream.
So yeah. Oh, and there's Miss Carolyn. Good to see you too.
Hey, Miss Karen. Hey, Hayden.
That's right. Caden may be there as well, huh?
No.
I'm gonna sit down.
All right. Well, Emma, is there anything you want to do? Are you ready to get started?
No. Do your
All right.
thing.
Let
Let's talk.
me
Let's listen.
go back. Here we are. We are going to transition to the interview. So you ready? As we always do. Bippity, boppity.
Wait, I gotta clean my ear.
You want to check? Okay.
Oh,
What's
wait a
going
minute.
on? She's got her figment ears.
Yay.
I see. Let me see.
I'll play.
We got Figment's. Yeah, there's Figment's nose. There he is.
Cute.
That's cute.
Yes.
She is.
Daddy.
Oh, goodness. Hey, Grandma and Grandpa. Good to see y'all here too. All right. Well, we are ready for the interview, and I think Emma is as well. So let me go back to where I was going to go. Are you ready now?
Yeah.
All right. So bippity, boppity.
Hi, Emma.
Thank you for being with us. You can tell, obviously, she is excited and still excited after multiple takes of welcoming you to the show.
Elimination
I am sorry.
You are doing fine, but we are excited. Thank you for being here and taking the time to talk.
Initial.
Are you ready for
wearing your
questions or anything else you want to add before we get started?
In 2021.
I dare say. Oh, you want to mention the book?
Oh.
Okay.
Get that plug in there.
What do you want to mention?
I think we still got it.
Yeah, it's right there.
We have a copy of your book.
That's right.
I
And,
cannot have a line for that. I'm sorry.
and other people should too, right? Yes. It's called what? You read it.
It comes from Dreamfinder.
To Dreamfinder. That's right. And the subtitle is A Life and Lessons Learned in 40 Years Behind a Name Tag by Ron Schneider. And this is one that we may, if we can, we might actually try to mail to you or something. Maybe we can get you signed.
I'd be delighted.
Oh, we could do that. Because Emma's going to want to send you a thank you note anyway, so we can include it. Including one of her buttons. That's right.
Oh, I could do TM.
All righty. Well, we have 16 questions. Several of them are just for fun questions, but most of them are about you and your experience. If you're ready to get started, Emma and Mr. Schneider, you ready to go? Okay. Oh, here's number one.
These are two questions, by the way.
Well, it's built into one. You got it.
When did you become a Disney fan? I heard that you visited Disneyland on opening day in 1955.
True. I was there the day after the park had officially opened. The first day was officially open, the day before they had the preview for all the celebrities. But my father had done some work on the place. He worked in air conditioning back then. And so I was there. Now, I wasn't a Disney fan yet because I was only 2.5 years old.
Like they say.
But I grew up in Southern California, and we would go to Disneyland an average of twice a year.
They say.
And as I grew older, I became more interested in entertainment. My love for the park grew and grew. I became a hardcore fan the day that Walt passed away, December 15th of 1966. When Walt passed away, I was sitting home in front of the TV and I heard the announcement, and it struck me what a tremendous impact he'd had on my life. And that's when I started studying his life and the history of Disneyland.
My favorite Duke was Luke.
Wow. So it's got the whole experience, right? From the beginning all the way to now. That's pretty amazing. Emma has been a big fan of Walt over the years and still has been. And we went to Disneyland back in November of 2019 for the first time. Thankfully, before all the crazy stuff happened. And we had 3 days in the parks, but we were there for 4 days, and Emma wanted a specific day to be able to go around and see all the different things that Walt was involved with.
There you go.
So we went, first of all, to see Walt and Lillian's graves, right? We went to the gravesite. That was one of the things Emma wanted to do, was pay her respects. We went to the Tam O'Shanter. We went to the carousel. And we drove by the studios. Didn't get to go on studio a lot. What else was
Since
that?
this interview, we've been to the studio, right?
He passed away.
We were to the
That's right. We
studio.
saw the hospital and everything else. Yeah.
Awesome.
So Emma took a day from the parks just to go do that. That was
That's
one of her goals.
That's wonderful. Even I've never done that.
So it was really something. She planned all that stuff, and it was a really good experience to see. Plus, I mean, it's a big area, but it was surprising how close everything was in that Glendale, Burbank area. Yeah. All right. You ready for number 2?
Hold on just a minute.
Okay. I'm holding.
This is from the movie
What's from the movie?
that you were in.
Oh,
You
okay.
were quoting of Oswald.
Oh, you're talking about Oswald.
Oh, yeah.
What was that? Oh, that you have a statue of Oswald. Okay, yeah.
So I see him there.
That's right. In the film, we watched the film, The Further Adventures of Walt's Frozen Head yesterday, and it was really cool. And you playing the part of Walt's Frozen Head was awesome. You did a great job.
Yeah, that was.
And then, yeah, when you made the reference in that film to Oswald, like giving up the rabbit or something, I believe.
You're the one who, shouldn't have given up that rabbit.
That's right. Her eyes went like, because she's a big Oswald fan.
No,
too.
but all I do.
All right, you ready for number 2 now?
Okay. Okay, back on topic.
Yeah, but
All
you
right.
don't need to do all that.
What made you
Tapping.
want to become a performer?
Thank you.
And when did you know that you
Yeah.
wanted to become
basic
the
info.
Dreamfinder?
Good questions. I got my idea of performing primarily from television show hosts in Southern California. Back in the 50s, there were a lot of kid shows on during the day, in the afternoons, after school. The local television stations, there were like 4 or 5 of them back then
I'm helping
in Los
Mom
Angeles, and they
Daisy.
all had
Even puppy
people who would host
they don't
shows
know
for
the
kids,
name,
showing cartoons.
but I don't
And
wanna
there was
go to
Paul
the
Winchell.
shelter.
You know, Paul Winchell's the voice of Tigger.
High school friend.
He was a very famous ventriloquist back then. And he had a show called Winchell Mahoney Time with Knucklehead Smith and Jerry Mahoney. And Jerry Mahoney and I are on the cover of that book, by the way. There's a picture of me with my Jerry Mahoney dummy. Sherry Lewis was a magician. Mark Wilson was a magician. Sheriff John, Engineer Bill, all these people were kid show hosts. And they would be on the television. They would be live. And they'd be talking to me and entertaining me. And that's where I first got the idea that I might want to do the same thing, that I might want to be a performer. As for Dreamfinder, the first time I heard about Dreamfinder was while I was working at Disneyland at the Golden Horseshoe Review, the Wild West show there. They had a presentation just for the employees at the Disney University where they train the employees. And Tony Baxter, man who created Journey into Imagination, was there. And he was talking about this new ride that he was working on for Epcot back in 1982. He held up a picture of Dreamfinder and Figment and said, this is going to be the only Disney character at Epcot. There's going to be no Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck or Goofy. It's just going to be this guy and the dragon. And I took one look at those characters and I went, that's for me. I want to be that guy who does that. And because I had my background in performing and magic and puppetry and all those other things, I was able to walk into my boss's office and say, I want to do this job. And I got the job.
All that preparation came together right there.
Exactly.
Isn't that cool?
What are you doing?
Hey, John, we still have all guys.
All right,
in
you
here.
ready for number 3?
John and Mike
Okay.
and Dennis and Jonathan and
How
Mike.
did you introduce Dreamfinder and Figment to people before the attraction opened in 1983?
Another great question. It's wonderful. How did people know who we were? Because the first time that I really appeared in public as Dreamfinder was in the Orange Bowl Parade in Miami Beach. I was on a big float that recreated parts of the ride for our sponsor Kodak. And I'm out there. It's a nighttime parade, and I'm going down the street. Everywhere I went, everybody knew who I was. Everybody knew it was Dreamfinder, and they were calling "Hello, Dreamfinder." How did they know who I was? Well, I'll tell you. When I was a kid, when I would see an ad for Disneyland in a newspaper on television, my eyes immediately went to the characters. I wanted to see, where's Mickey? Where's Mickey? And that's the same way today. They had pictures of me and all the ads and all the articles about the park. And people, the kids, their eyes went to that. What is that? Who is that? And I think that's how they found out who I was. When the park opened in '82, the ride wasn't ready yet. '82. And I was turned loose inside the park. I was wandering around Imagination, but we didn't have the ride yet. But people still pretty much knew who we were. On top of which, I was a crazy professor with a dragon, so I was going to draw a lot of attention anyway.
Yeah, no,
that's right. That's pretty neat. I didn't realize that. Yeah. That's cool info, huh? You ready?
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to number 4.
What was it like being a part of Epcot Center like at that time? Was it exciting? What?
There is nothing more exciting than opening a new theme
That's
park.
when your daddy was doing the
It
question.
is a one-of-a-kind experience.
Listen,
because nothing is ready.
Part of Epcot.
You've got a hard day left. It's supposed to open. You told everybody in the world was going to be open. You booked the television cameras to come in and all the celebrities and stuff like that. But everything's at the last minute.
Right.
And so I was kind of turned loose. They gave me my dragon, they gave me my costume, and I went over to the Imagination Pavilion, which is way on the other side of the park from all the offices and everybody else. And I had to fend for myself out there. I had to find a dressing room. I had to find a break area. I had to figure out how I was going to do my sets, where I was going to come and go on stage, backstage.
Wow.
And so that was quite exciting. But I've opened, I think, 5 different theme parks in my life. We opened Magic Mountain. I opened the Golden Corners. I opened Universal Studios. I opened Epcot. And
because when we had below zero temperatures,
it's always very, very exciting. There's a terrific spirit among the people who are working there to pull something together. And very often we're doing it by the skin of our teeth.
So we had those.
So it's a lot of fun and very, very exciting.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, and it was such a different thing than what people were used to going to Magic Kingdom for or Disney. So it probably was a unique kind of challenge. At the same time, it had to be a lot of fun because you were really the face of the park in a lot of ways. I mean, it didn't have any other characters. It's hard, I'm sure, for Emma. We've talked about this in the past, that there weren't the other characters there. I mean, at all. And even when they added the Frozen characters, it created a little bit of a stir. Because people were, the people, I guess, like me, that grew up with what Epcot Center was, saw that kind of going away. I guess even more.
Yeah,
but
you're on camera.
It was a different place. To me, it was really exciting at that age. I guess I was probably middle school to high school, something like that. I'm trying to remember. Probably middle school.
I remember riding those from.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you do. It didn't change that long ago, huh? All right, you ready for number 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
From your experience, performing at Disneyland different than performing at Epcot Center?
Very different. Very different. In my career, I wanted to explore all different forms of performing in theme parks. That's a unique kind of entertainment because the show that I'm putting on is not the show that the guest is paying to see. They're paying for an experience. They're paying for what they get from what I do. And so in every condition that I performed, sometimes I'm on the streets, sometimes I've been on stage, sometimes I've been standing in a genie lift in the middle of a lake. I've done all these different things over the years.
I was just on it.
At the Golden Horseshoe at Disneyland, I was performing in a beautiful air-conditioned theater.
I know you can, but baby,
the audience had stood in line for reservations, and there were 310 of them in this one room, and they were there to see a show that had been running for 25 years, and it was all about comedy. And they just had to sit and laugh, and I had to get up there and be funny. Now we go to Epcot Center. I'm outside. It's the summer in Florida, which is miserable and hot.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing a 3-piece suit with a fake beard and a rubber dragon on my arm and a wig and a hat. And it's miserably hot. And the guests are coming up, and all they want to do is they want to have their picture taken. That's all they want. They want a picture taken and they want an autograph. And I have, in spite of that, I have to get them to
who's working
play with me.
outside, construction
Because I've got this wonderful character I want to share, and this wonderful message about imagination that I want to share.
Electricians,
and so I have to all those people figure out how I'm going to get that through to them. How I'm going to draw them into my game.
Right here.
How I'm going to entertain them.
She did.
And I'm doing this one at a time. Instead of 310 people, I've got one family at a time, sometimes just one kid at a time. And I've got to be this magical character who's entirely different than the character I was doing in
Schneider, Mr.
So it was very, very different. And every job I've had over my 40 years in the business was very different from every other job. Yeah.
That is, I didn't think about it because I kept thinking, well, they're both live.
Jobs, right?
But yeah, the differences you explained are, they're night and day, really. Trying to do that and trying to pull people in when you're right. They're probably on their way to something, but they see you, they get excited, and yeah.
I'm competing with roller coasters. I have been all my life.
Well, you made an impression, that's for sure. And I think it wasn't just the ride, that the attraction that did it. So
because he's always worked in
at least I do from those days, huh? You want to move on to number 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Journey into Imagination tape back in 1998.
She smiles because this is when she was born.
So I never got to see it in person.
Right.
What do you think people learned from it?
Well, if you've seen the videotape, you'll remember that at one point Dreamfinder says, imagination is something that belongs to all of us. And that was what the ride was about. It was about
I don't know if we
the fact that imagination is this wonderful thing. All of that top center was imagined. That's where it came from. And in a sense, our pavilion, the Journey into Imagination, was about that process.
Yeah.
And even the countries in World Showcase, all those countries represent the imaginations of all these people from around the world.
Yeah, we saw that.
So in the Journey into Imagination, I was kind of the ambassador for the creative process.
You see?
And the gentleman who created Journey into Imagination, Tony Baxter, was faced with the problem when he was creating the ride. He said, we're going to make a ride about imagination, but how do you explain imagination? How do you define it? Because it's this wonderful thing, and it could do everything in the world because it has. That's what imagination does. It's responsible for everything. They broke it down into 3
his party
processes. Collecting sparks of inspiration, storing them in your brain, or in our ride in the Dreamport, and recombining them into new things, because everything in the world is inspired by what came before. So the message of the ride, as you'll see, when Dreamfinder creates a figment, and then he takes figment through all the different realms of creativity, it's all about how imagination is this process that everybody does all the time. You just get up in the morning and decide what you're going to wear to go to school. That's imagination. And that was the message of the whole ride. And, when I was talking to the people, I would try to get them to play.
Who's in the chat? If you've been to Epcot, let us know.
And in that way, I helped to communicate that message.
I didn't know. Go ahead.
Is the part that I remember, and was reminded me when we watched the YouTube video, which we'll have to link up the original video here that someone's posted, because it was a good quality video for the time anyway, because that was it was a different video back then. But the part that I remember and was refreshed on was the final. I guess it was the final, or close to the final scene, where Figment was doing all the different things. And I don't know if they're occupations or just hobbies or various different things. But I saw an interview where you commented on that and mentioned the fact that that was just something that people saw and kind of triggered their own, I guess, imaginations as to what they could do or be.
The genius of the ride was that at the end, you identified with Figment.
In the early 80s.
You were Figment. And Figment was surrounded by all of these things that he could do with his life. He was a song and dance man, a mountain climber, a pirate, a sailor. all these different things he could do. And whether you realized it or not,
original
people came into that room and they realized the world is open to me.
I went to see.
It's all a question of my acting on my imagination.
91 is when I went to visit my godchildren in Florida.
Well, yeah, from the video because you didn't see it originally.
We spent a couple of days.
All right, you ready for number 7?
We went to Epcot.
Okay, there we go.
You were also the voice of Dreamfinder and part of the attraction. What was it like to be a voice actor?
Oh, it's wonderful. I never thought I'd have a chance to do something like that. I had spent my teenage years when I was studying Disneyland. I would go around with a tape recorder and I'd record all the ride narrations.
Oh.
And I memorized them. So I was familiar with the style of these things. When I got the job as doing Dreamfinder, it turns out that they hadn't finished making the ride yet.
Oh.
And the fellow who had done the voice did a wonderful job in the voice. Chuck McCann was his name. And he had based the voice on The Wizard of Oz. You've seen the movie The Wizard of Oz? Well, that's an actor named Frank Morgan.
David Letterman nowadays, he
took the Frank Morgan voice and put it in the Dreamfinder, which is a very powerful thing. People grew up with listening to that voice. You notice that when I did the voice a second ago, your father had to go wipe his eyes.
Oh, I did. Believe me. It's
because it affects people. It affects people immediately when they hear that particular voice. And that's happened to me several times.
Yeah.
So it was, for me to do it, of course, being such a Disney fan, was just a dream come true. To get to actually have my voice in the ride every time I would go through the ride, I would get to hear my voice coming out. If I woke up in the morning and I was a little hungover in a bad mood, I would remind myself, my voice is going on right down the block, right around the block. It's still running. And I got to do other voices too for Disney off and on. When they did Mickey's Birthday Land, I wrote and narrated the train narration for that. And it's a wonderful feeling to be able to contribute like that.
Well, and I guess the other thing is it's a different kind of performance, right? Because you're talking to a microphone and maybe someone in a booth. But
guys, y'all,
you don't have an audience at all in that case.
Clue, so I have to sit up
here.
Or
are you thinking about an audience? Maybe
she doesn't know David Letterman. She doesn't know Kenny Rogers.
The thing
I think
that I had to learn,
right?
No, Kenny Rogers.
Was, I listened to a lot of the ride narrations, like I said.
Grandpa,
there was always a remove
and everything.
On those things. The narrator tends to sound a little ostentatious, a little self-aware. And when I did Mickey's Birthday Land Express, I wanted to make it sound like I was standing behind you on the train, just describing what was going along very casually. And what somebody explained to me was you should talk as if you're sitting next to somebody in the car.
Oh.
You don't have to put a lot of energy out there. You just have to talk to them very intimately and be very real. And it made all the difference in the world. The narration came off as much warmer and believable, and it wasn't quite so jarring.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, huh?
We need to find that on YouTube.
Yeah, we do. We need to find that one.
There's some clips out there.
All right. You ready for number 8?
Yeah.
All right. We are halfway through your questions. We have a lot of questions for you.
Wait, number 7 was also about the upstairs imagination area.
Oh, okay. Do you want to? Okay, I'll turn this one off, and you can add a 7B. Okay. What do you call an ad hoc question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't all know about the upstairs imagination area. Is that your work? What was it called?
It goes for Image Works. It was the Image Works.
And it was the exit part too. Yeah.
Now, did you actually get to play Green Colors for the pre?
No, I was not Dreamfinder in the School of Drama. Actually, if you're familiar with Disney Imagineers, you probably know who Joe Rohde is.
Oh, my God.
Joe Rohde is the man who created Animal Kingdom and is a wonderful genius designer. Well, he was the model for the robot, for the audio animatron of Dreamfinder. because he had that kind of a jolly face.
Okay.
And when they shot the Dreamfinder School of Drama,
Rhodey was the model
he
for the
played Dreamfinder, but he didn't do the voice for the Dreamfinder. That was looped by Chuck McCann, who had done most of the ride downstairs. So there's a lot of different hands in that pot.
Wow.
Isn't that something? I guess he's got a unique face, because I remember seeing something a while back where they used him as a model for was it Hightower?
Yes, he's the Hightower at Tokyo.
Yeah, Tokyo Disney Sea. Yeah, that's interesting. That's cool. Yeah. All right, you ready for number 8 now? Okay, here's number 8.
If you visit the Disney park now, do you have favorite entertainer?
It's very interesting. I learned this recently that when they poll the guests, people who visit Walt Disney World, surprisingly, what is the number one piece of live entertainment across the board? Everybody votes for the Voices of Liberty.
Oh,
the a cappella singers in American Adventure. And that's something I never miss. When I go to the park, I'm always planted there on the front row, and I love for that. I love that. So that would have to be my favorite. The various shows, some shows I like more than others, but Voices of Liberty is my favorite.
Yeah, I like the voice.
And then singing in that, in that atrium, that rotunda of that building, that gives you goosebumps.
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, that is awesome. All right, you're number 9? Okay.
Having worked with Wally
Vogue. There you go.
at Tokyo.
There you go.
Well done.
Richard Sherman and Tony Baxter. What do you think all of you have in common? You are all also very talented.
That's right.
Well, you got that last part right.
Hey,
Brittany,
you know
something having.
All right, we're gonna have to check it. We're going, Emma and I are going to see the Haunted, and her dad are going to.
They're all very different
tomorrow.
Except for the devotion that they each one of them developed for Walt Disney and for his work.
Recline,
Wally came from a vaudeville background. Wally was a professional dancer. He had his own dancing school when he was 16.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
And he worked all around the world. He was on the Ed Sullivan Show doing the balloon animals like that. Exitencio came out of animation.
That's right.
And wound up writing dialogue and songs and attractions. Richard Sherman, nothing to be said about Richard Sherman. The man is the genius behind all that music. And Tony Baxter grew up just like I did. He went to Disneyland and fell in love with the place and followed his bliss, followed his heart, and studied landscaping and architecture and all these things, and went to Wed Enterprises and worked his way up through Wed Enterprises until now he's as close to Walt Disney as we're going to get for some time.
A video about
they're four very, very different people.
Emma, you're not going to be the
Tony
person who sees the movie.
Is the only one I think that came at it with the love for Walt Disney. Everyone else has developed from working with Walt.
About it, watching
and,
you. All right, so let's.
I never met Walt Disney. I saw the top of his head. I was on the omnibus on Main Street one day with my family, and I said to my dad, "I'm going off by myself. I'll see you later." I went up on top of the omnibus, and then I looked down, and my sister Lisa was running after the bus, going, "Ronnie, Ronnie, Ronnie!" Because Walt Disney was in the crowd behind her. So I figured I must have seen the top of his head. I met his daughter. At the Disney Family Museum, which I heartily recommend. Ron Miller, his son-in-law, was there, and he introduced me to Diane Disney, and I got to kiss her hand, and she was very, very sweet. No, I think everybody comes at it from a different perspective, but we all united in our affection for Walt.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's really awesome. All right, you ready for number 10?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
You have said that Walt Disney had a big impact on your life. How did Walt inspire you?
Well, of course, I grew up watching the Mickey Mouse Club, which was always a bit of a disappointment for me because I was hoping there'd be all these shows from Disneyland. And they didn't do very much from Disneyland. I grew up watching Wonderful World of Color, and but then I didn't care for the westerns. I didn't care for Davy Crockett or Johnny Tremaine or the animal shows. I wanted shows about Disneyland.
Yeah.
And when they had those, and you can see most of those on YouTube now.
Disney.
I was just nailed to the TV, and I had there was no video recording back then, so I'd make an audio tape. I had my little reel-to-reel, and I'd make an audio tape. So that's the way that personally, seeing him walking through Imagineering and talking about what they were going to be working on in the future. I found that terribly inspiring. And when I was doing Dreamfinder, I got to do some of that. I got to walk through the Imagination Pavilion before it was open and talk to people about what was going to be in the building. And that was a magical thing too.
That is. That's a lot like you did. Yeah.
But his dedication to quality and the fact that he didn't like to repeat himself. He believed in the best in people. He would stand for no nonsense, but he was always trying to improve what he did. You know, we've got to a point now.
Well, Mike, the way to do that is you Google how much
Imagineers can't talk about what they're working on. Walt
Park
always
has, or how much
talked about what he was working
Walt Disney Company
because he wanted to see your reaction.
And
he told you a story.
Add it up.
He wanted to see what there's this one moment in the Pirates of the Caribbean television special where he's talking to the girl and he says, "You're going to fall up a waterfall." You look at the look on his face and the reaction in her face.
Yeah.
And you can see everything in the world about the man right there. The thing about Walt Disney was he was just a guy who had to make things better.
Yeah.
It wasn't, and with animation, he took what animation for what animation was, and he made it more lifelike. He made films more friendly to the family, and he inspired. You know, he was the one who created stereophonic sound for the movie Fantasia. That was his invention. Right. And look what he did to amusement parks. And that's what I find most inspiring. And I think, I'll tell you something, I think that's the reason that you and I love Walt Disney now. Not for what the company is doing now, because half of what the company does now today is wonderful, and half of it's okay. Yeah, exactly. You said it. But for what Walt accomplished while he was on this earth, the films he did and the impact he made, that's why people like you and me are so devoted to his memory.
Yeah.
And always will be, I think.
Yeah, that's well said. You agree?
Well,
yeah. All right. Well, the next few questions are all for fun.
Okay.
And we'll see. These are, you have to make some tough decisions on some of these. So we'll see. Ready? All right. Number 11.
Look. Okay. If you could only watch one Disney film in the future, which one would it be?
This is going to surprise you. It's got to be Tomorrowland. The movie about, that to me is one of the greatest films. It was not a big success.
And we watched that movie. Remember we watched it?
It's a film that needed to be made.
George Clooney.
It's got a message in it that's very, very important.
We've not seen
it. The guy that played House is in Tomorrowland.
I don't think so. We're going to have to see it.
It's really
one way or
cool.
the other. Sorry about that.
It's not.
I don't remember.
I mean, it's very entertaining, and there's amazing stuff in it.
Why don't you use this?
But the message of the film just struck me very much. There's a lot of Disney films I love. If I could only watch one again, it would be Tomorrowland.
All right.
Let's put it right there.
Well, that gives us an assignment, I think.
Don't look down.
All right. Number 12. You ready?
Whatever.
What would yours be?
The Haunted Mansion movie with Eddie Murphy. Even
Really?
though that did
there's the Haunted Mansion. I knew we had to get a Haunted Mansion.
That surprises me big time.
Even though it is based on the effect because it's so scary and fun.
Daddy did
Right.
I agree. I enjoyed that one too. And I know a lot of people were not wild about it, but I thought it was very entertaining. I loved Madame Leota, and I loved the singing statues
Yeah.
that film. We're wonderful.
I didn't know that. I would have guessed a lot of like Lion King or something, but really? All right. See, I learned something about you right here too.
You know the reason for the whole American movie? It could be more scary. You know
This
how
is before
movies
you knew they would be
want
making
to
a
be
haunted
more
mansion
scary?
movie.
Right.
And
Well,
we're going to that one, and then it's going to be the funny
Like you
man.
would see it tomorrow.
And then here
Live
comes
with
the
us
whole looking face again.
okay, so we're going off into fandom here. I think one person that I'll just throw this in there. If Emma could meet, also, who would that be from Haunted Mansion fame? Paul Frees. For some reason, she has a connection to Paul Frees, and I haven't yet figured out why. But
And Hattie.
and Hatbox Ghost.
Hattie.
Yeah, well, you can't meet him. You can see him, but you can't really meet him. All right, you ready for number 12?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's number 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you could live in any theme park resort hotel, which one would it be?
Oh, wow.
You stumped him on that one.
Yeah.
Well, I celebrated my 50th birthday at the Grand Californian at Disneyland. That was fun because we had the suites. It was real fancy. But I think probably I would choose the Poly. I would choose the Polynesian.
Wow.
My fiance and our kids, we stayed over there. They stayed over there. I was living nearby. But we had a wonderful time there on the concierge floor. Any place with a concierge floor, that's the place to stay. I mean, it's just magic, and there's food around the clock, and you had a wonderful view of the fireworks from there. So I'm going to go with the Poly.
To the music, to the fireworks.
We stayed there one year. I think it was in 2009, maybe.
Yeah.
At the concierge, and I know what you mean. That lounge is beautiful with the views, and
No. I kind of like the waterfall.
The building.
You like the waterfall?
Holly.
Okay. You like the theming? I know.
And you can have the waterfall.
I remember.
Yeah, well, the pool's probably still does, right?
Food.
We haven't been there in a while. I know they've done a lot of changes. All right, you ready for number 13?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you could visit only one theme park in the future, which one would it be?
Disneyland.
Well, the fact of the matter is, my home is Disneyland.
Yeah.
And with the situation we're in right now with COVID and all those other things, I just want to go home. I just want to see Disneyland again. I want to see it the way it was. I want to see it back 100%. And I just need to go back there at least one more time. Yeah.
We went back then, like I mentioned earlier, and we had always heard that it's different.
I was there, but I was probably
it's more intimate. It's different than Magic Kingdom, right? And we were like, well,
I was online.
But when you got there, you really felt different.
Disneyland was designed by a genius for people. Magic Kingdom was designed by a committee or a mob.
Yeah, it's sucky.
And that's the difference.
It seems like as it went to, I guess, move to Tokyo, it got even bigger, more spread out.
Yep.
You know, and you didn't have that where you can turn a corner and there's something you didn't expect to be sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it was very different. And the versions of a lot of the attractions are, to me, are a lot better. And we've probably been to Disney World 20 times.
I think it'll be 21, 20.
Something like that. But I think if I could snap my fingers and be in either place, I'd probably want to be in Disneyland. Yes. I agree with you. Yeah. All right, number 14. We're almost done. We only got 2 more after this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you could build any attraction in your backyard, which one would it be?
Oh, wow. I would, you know what I would build? Well, I'm going to give you 2 answers for this. An attraction that I miss terribly and would love to see again. And in fact, I'd love to have it in my backyard, was the old mine train through Rainbow Ridge at Disneyland. Before there was a big Thunder Mountain Railroad at Disneyland, there was a mine train, a slow-moving mine train that would travel through Beaver Valley, Bear Country, the Living Desert, and
still
Rainbow
say,
Caverns, and went out by the river and by Cascade
I want
Peak.
the people
There was a
mover.
wonderful old narration that went with it, and it was this slow, charming thing, and it took up a lot of area. It was a very big attraction.
And where we live now,
And man, when I was
I
a
would
kid
like
growing
to
up,
have a people mover
that
that
I
would
think was
take
my
us
favorite ride at
places
Disneyland at
close
the
to
time.
us.
This is
That could take
we're
us
talking
to
long before Pirates of the
take us
Caribbean or Haunted
around.
Mansion.
We are close
And it
to
was
that,
there
Mom.
until 70s when they brought in
We have the
Big
I
Thunder.
want a people mover
So that's the one I miss. The one I would build
You know, yeah,
is the sequel to Journey into Imagination. Because everybody keeps talking about they want to bring that ride back. Well, I don't think we should bring it back. I think we should build a sequel that takes the story to the next point. In the original ride, you're flying along Dreamfinder, and he's collecting sparks of inspiration and recombining them into new things. Well, in the sequel, I think you should be flying the dream catching machine, and you should be collecting sparks of inspiration and recombining them into new and wonderful things.
Oh, cool.
And I've given some thought to this about how it would be done and how it would work and what it would look like. And I think that we need to move forward. I'm not. People always say we should bring back the Dreamfinder. I'm not so sure we should bring back the Dreamfinder, but we should bring back what the Dreamfinder meant back then, and update it, and strengthen that connection between you and the process of creativity. And so that's what I would build.
That's awesome. I wouldn't have thought of that, but that makes sense, huh?
Well, now when you were saying about the Naked for Wonderland, there's actually remnants of the ride still there.
Oh, there's remnants of the ride.
Oh yeah. Rainbow Ridge is still there. The town is still there. They just moved it up to the side. And she knows her. This woman knows her park.
She does.
Those are park, and they still have the trestle back there in the back, and the fish is still jumping out of the water. Oh yeah, there are bits and pieces of it everywhere.
We tried to walk it when we were taking the Walt's
Footsteps.
Yes, we did that tour.
Love that tour.
So I was talking with our tour guide. Her name is Meg.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Jennifer?
Jessica.
Patricia? I can't remember her name. We have photos of it though. We probably have a picture of her name tag somewhere.
I think it's Danny, I think.
Okay, could be. But what were you saying?
Anyway, I was telling her about the old ride, about how the tunnels and stuff are still there. And I went to the area. I think this was near the Kiki room.
Okay.
Right behind it.
Oh, that's when we were talking. Yes.
And I tried to I could spot the flying thing, and there was none.
The flying thing.
So I didn't know if they were off or on. So.
Emma had an interesting time doing the Walking in Walt's Footsteps tour, because Emma seemed to know a lot of things the tour guide didn't.
And apparently, I think he was doing the color program, right?
Yes, she wanted to be an animator. She was in the program. That's right.
He wanted to work for a Disney company.
That's right.
Same thing happened to me when I took the tour. I took the Walking in Walt's Footsteps tour, and I knew a lot more than the guide did. At least the guide knows a lot, but they only got an hour to do the tour.
Yeah.
And so I would keep speaking up and saying, "And did you know this, that, and the other thing?"
That was so much fun, though. I was so proud of her. Because she knew so much and she enjoyed it so much.
Paid a lot of money for this tour.
I got a question for Emma. Emma, do you know about the Little Man of Disneyland?
No.
Uh-oh. Don't tell me you don't know this one.
It's about Roy Disney, right?
No.
Oh, no. The Little Man of Disneyland is a book that came out as a little golden book that came out when I was a child. And it's the story of a leprechaun who lived in an orange field in Southern California. And one day, a giant mouse and a giant dog and a giant duck came and were trotting around in his neighborhood and said, "We're going to tear all this out. We're going to put up a thing called Disneyland." They took him, in the book, they took him to Disney Studios, and they showed him the plans. And he said, "Well, it's okay. You can do this, but I want to still live here. I want to live here. This is my home." So in the book, he picked out a tree in Adventureland, and they carved out a little home for him in this tree.
The Animal Kingdom.
This was in the book. This is one of the things that I saw when I was a child that made me get interested in Disneyland. Well, to this day, if you go to Adventureland, you have to look around to find it.
There you go. Now she's found it.
But there's a tree with a tiny house carved into the side of the tree. You see a little door, a little window, a little chimney.
All right, right here.
And that's where the little man at Disneyland lives. You can find the book online. You can find you can actually buy copies of the book on Amazon. They recreated it, they reprinted it, and to me, it's one of my favorite memories of the park. And one of the things that I know got me interested when I was a kid.
We had sent
when you said that earlier, that actually brought back a memory.
Signed it, and then he sent us the little
YouTube video
with figments
about the history and what it was looking about the Leprechaun.
Oh, okay. Well, that might be the similar story, huh? Is that the same story?
A little bit. I can look afterward, actually.
Okay, could be.
Okay.
There's some really good channels that do their own documentaries on history of the theme park.
Discovery does a lot of stuff.
One of her favorite things to watch. Yeah. All right. Well, we only have 2 questions left. These are big ones.
I'm not.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
Remember the question if you could make it one theme park in the future.
Which would it be?
She's got her back to it.
Right. Well,
mine would it be?
Yours would be what?
Mine would be Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom. Why?
No idea.
I got a little. Because I have a connection to it. Apparently, I'm only awakening over it.
Animal Kingdom opened the same month and year she was born.
Wow.
So Emma creates connections, I guess, and things that she connects that way, and that's one of your favorites. So I think it would be hard for you not to visit the others, though. Yeah.
But the attraction I would melt would be the Disneyland Haunted Mansion.
The Disneyland Haunted Mansion, that's right. With the elevator.
Right? We don't have BBC America anymore. And since
pretend.
Haven't
Not the
had
rising
BBC
ceiling.
America, we don't really do the documentary stuff.
When we first got on there, I knew when we first got the floor going down, I knew immediately it was the elevator.
Yeah, you knew you were waiting for it, right?
Yeah.
That was cool. All right. Well,
But they were doing the Christmas overlay now. It's now called free.
Oh yes, when we saw it, unfortunately, we saw the Haunted Mansion. Well, unfortunately, but during the Christmas overlay, so we didn't see the original. So yeah, one day we need to go back and see the original, right?
And we did that.
We're working
this past
on
April.
doing the Christmas overlay
I actually enjoyed it.
Now, yeah.
Without.
All right. Well, we got 2 more questions, and these are big ones.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? This is number 15.
If you could ask Walt Disney himself one question today, what would it be?
Oh wow. That's a tough one.
You're Indy Fedora. They gonna let you carry your whip too, John?
That'd be tough.
I mean, I've read every book there is on his life, and I'm very familiar with what the man was thinking about most things. That's a tough one. Let's go to the next question. I'll come back to this one.
Okay.
Oh, I got mine now.
Okay. Well, all right. We'll come back to it though. Okay. Yeah. This is the last one.
What am I with Dreamfinder and you?
And you.
And what a YouTube career and entertainer like me.
Hang on to that wonderful guy next to you because he's absolutely the greatest father I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, just made me cry.
Oh my goodness. I don't know about that. I'm trying a little bit, huh?
This man is a gem and a treasure. And I have never been so impressed with one man's performance online. I have been interviewed dozens of times since the book came out, and this is the most charming and most fun podcast I've ever been a part of.
Yay!
And
I give it to Emma.
It's the two of you. It's absolutely the two of you. I mean, it's just the most amazing experience. I guess that if I could ask Walt Disney one question today, it would be the same question everybody else wants to ask Walt Disney is, well, what do you think of it? What do you think of the way it's all turned out?
Yeah.
I would probably want to take him on American Adventure so that he could see that. And get his reaction to that and Epcot Center.
Jonathan, yeah.
But
it's a great place.
We can't ever know.
Jonathan, you would love
what he would think
Big
of
Bows. Just make sure you know when it's.
I mean, this is the man who wanted to let people into Disneyland free in 1955. But his brother convinced him to charge $1 to keep the riffraff out.
No, he's not going
and I know that his reaction to when he saw the prices posted now would be something else entirely.
No.
Yeah.
But
he takes a trip to Waco.
No, I would just say I would want to show him the parks and say what do you think? You know, I don't think
will love.
We can second guess Walt on any of that because his mind was always changing, was always evolving. He was always going from one project to another.
You probably won't participate.
And, that's
the karaoke's
that's
really
part of
fun.
his genius that he knew how to use his imagination.
One of the biggest things that's made me kind of waffle back and forth in thinking about, because the first question I would say is, what do you think? But it would be, what do you think about what they did with Epcot? Because it's not really anywhere close to what the original vision was. And I always think, well, maybe he'd be disappointed, but at the same time, given the technology and everything else, he might be like, oh no, this is cool. This is not what I thought of, but maybe this is cool. What do you think based on reading how he thought about other things?
Well, I mean, look at his first plans for Disneyland.
Yeah.
You know, it was nothing like what it turned into. Everything he touched from the original concept to the final product evolved immensely. And in the art of theme park, the final product is influenced by so much more than just what is written down on the paper or what the original concept is. Budgets come into it, and land comes into it, and technologies come into it.
Yeah.
And that's the fascination. That's the miracle of it. We create we deal creatively with operational realities. We make magic in the real world. So we have to have a wastebasket every 10 foot.
Oh my goodness.
And we have to have restrooms, and we have to have health violations and OSHA and all this stuff going on to it. And within that bubble, we have to convince you that something magical has happened. You're flying over Neverland.
My friends,
that's the science. That's the miracle.
Don't stop believing.
What we do. For me, as a performer,
my personal
the challenge was, okay, I got to go out there. I got to do 8 sets a day. I got to go out there for 30 minutes. I've got to animate this dragon at the same time that I'm wearing all this stuff. I have to deal with all those people, and all they ever want is to have their picture taken. And yet I have to create a magic moment.
Yeah.
And this is this art form that Walt Disney originated has evolved and will continue to evolve. I think it's just, especially where live performance is concerned, it's just now starting to hit its stride, and we're starting to find new things, new ways.
Figment's hurting your temple.
Interacting personally.
Well, I don't want to. No, I ain't singing Journey, and I just did these boots were made for.
Well, and they're doing the new, Star Wars Hotel, and they've done Galaxy's Edge. When they did Galaxy's Edge, they talked about all this live entertainment, and
Neil
that you were going to be, and it never happened for whatever reason. And then now that when they're showing the hotel, it's supposed to be this completely immersive thing where you're part of it. And
how about some journey?
One that would seem to be really difficult for the performers to do that every time, every day, and you know, find some connection with new people every 2 days or whatever it is. But do you think it's going to happen?
I didn't get enough sleep last night.
Well, since they're planning to charge $6,000 to put your toe in the door,
they may find a way.
It's going to happen. I would, if I had the bread, I would be there opening day because I want to see what's going to happen opening day.
Yeah.
Attractions always change after they open.
Oh, they're talking about
especially something like this that is completely, you know, all live interaction and depending on the guests. My performance as Dreamfinder evolved, and my performance at the Golden Horseshoe evolved, and everyone I know is a live performer in the park. They all evolve. You know, it isn't until you've got the audience sitting there that you actually know what you've got. Everything else is done in a vacuum until you've got the audience in front of you. So yeah, I think that it's going to be a very interesting experiment to see how they pull that off. I think that I would love to have been a part of that because they're pushing the envelope there, buddy. And I'm sure there'll be lots of great stuff there. But as for how many robots are they going to have running around loose? And
right.
And looking at that itinerary that they posted the other day, I have serious questions.
Was Chapek in charge?
Well, one of the things that I was thinking about all that stuff was that, you know, they did have all those big plans. They do have all those big plans now. But there are people that go, and we've seen some people comment on this. It's like, you know, what if I don't feel like going to Galaxy's Edge when they have me scheduled? What if I want to go to, you know, Animal Kingdom? It's like, well, you probably won't be able to. So what does that really do? And I guess the other thing, I had a question for you. In this day of all this, like we're doing YouTube, and there's a lot of vloggers in the parks now, filming entertainment and interviewing people, and including that's right. Emma wants to do that when we go, hopefully in December. Do you think that's changed how live entertainment is delivered or programmed, or you know, because people are live streaming everything now?
The interview, Emma's talking about the cat.
It's certainly influenced it. Sometimes I look at the new ride will open and I wonder.
The Star Cruiser only open for 1 year.
Designing plans that went into it, where the realization that it's going to be videotaped and put up online.
Don't know.
Because you've got to write, you got to create for that stuff.
They put a lot of money.
I mean,
and just like they did all that.
It breaks my heart sometimes to go to Disneyland and see people walking around Frontierland like this. This is just the stupidest thing in the world. One video somebody took on the Radiator Springs Racers, where they had the two cars racing side by side, and the guy in the car was filming the whole thing, and he turned his camera to the other thing, and they were all filming the whole thing. Everybody. Nobody's looking at what they're paying all that money to see.
That's right.
Yeah.
I got on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad with a dear friend of mine, and she wouldn't put her camera down. I said, "You're missing the ride. You're missing the show. You're never going to look at this again. If you want a video of it, there's far better videos online. You got Martin Smith, you got Jeff Lang, you got Lou Mangello." You got all these, John Sakara, you got all these people making wonderful videos. You know, fine, let them do that.
Mm-hmm.
Be there in the moment that you paid for it, for gosh sakes.
I think that's one of the biggest things now is that you just need to be there. You just need to experience it. And I know I'm guilty. I'm typically the photographer for the family, so I'm a lot of times looking through the thing. But it is different when you just say, okay, I'm turning this off, I'm putting it in the bag, and I'm just going to enjoy myself. What? Did you have one more question?
I do have two, actually.
Okay, well.
If you could be one, what were they called?
What were they called? What was that? What are you thinking of?
The cookie and put interacting thing.
Oh, the Oh, it was like the live characters, or
Interactive.
yeah, like interactive
That'd be
characters.
like
Monsters Laugh Floor.
Yes, because he did Monsters Laugh Floor.
Yeah.
You want to ask about that? Okay.
Monsters Laugh Floor was. I was late in my life. I didn't think I was going to get another chance like that, and I got to be on the opening crew, and that was a whole new technology, which of course they had used before in Turtle Talk.
Yeah.
But Monsters Laugh Floor was far more advanced and more complex,
normal.
and very exciting. It's live. It's done live, so you can do anything with it. They have hit upon a formula that works, but I would love to see them change it up more frequently and do different things with it. But like I say, the formula works, and there's little reason to mess with something that works that well.
Well, and it's back now. We watched a couple of videos of it, and to me, it's still funny, and it's still great to see who they're going to pick to be that guy, and all the things like that get the audience involved.
I was the guy who came up with the Eiffel Tower gag.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's right. No matter where it is, and the Eiffel
there's
Tower.
always an Eiffel Tower.
I love it. What else? You had said you had one more?
Yeah.
I think we got to wrap it up though. So, okay. What's your other question? I know it's in there somewhere.
When you're doing stuff like that, maybe what you should start doing, but what you need to do is start writing it down so that when it does come back around to you, you remember what it was. We need to start having a pen and paper around so that when you think of something you want to say,
which one will you ride for a whole day at Korean night?
Oh, if you could ride one attraction back in time all day and night, which one would it be? You mean different than Mine Train? Oh, okay. Maybe a different one. I don't know.
It isn't a ride. It's the Golden Horseshoe Review. The show in Frontierland with my mentor, Wally Bogue. They did 5 shows a day. I would sit there through all 5 shows. And if they did a second set of shows at night, I'd sit there through all those shows. That show was hysterically funny. And watching those people, Wally Bogue, Fulton Burley, and Betty Taylor, that was pure gold to me.
That was a great answer.
He was an American.
All right. You want to go back to that last one real quick? This was any advice for Emma as her YouTuber?
No, I would say no. Just keep doing exactly what you two are doing.
See?
I love this show, and I love you guys. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to talk to you and be a part of this.
Thank you very much.
My
You
pleasure.
definitely made her excited, and you know me, you can tell I'm emotional. I love it. Thank you for the time. You want to say anything else before we wrap up? What's that?
America question of if you would ask Walt Disney one question, what would it be?
You want to ask what question you would ask?
Yeah, what?
Oracle. I will ask first, can I have a hug? And then the second one will be, how do you feel about Disney, the company Disney, getting Oswald right back?
Oh, yeah. What do you think about Disney getting Oswald's rights back, the rights to Oswald back?
Oh, I thought that was wonderful.
Yeah.
I thought it was wonderful, and the way they treated him is terrific. Did you see him? In Get a Horse, the 3D cartoon. It's running at the Imagination Pavilion now.
Okay.
See if you can find a copy of that. Oswald has a cameo in that.
Oh.
He just there's one point towards the very end of the film when they put a hole in the screen. Oswald sticks his head out, and then it's back.
We got to do that. We didn't get to meet Oswald in California Adventure at the time. He wasn't meeting people, so hopefully one day, huh? But yeah, I think Walt would probably be happy that Disney has has Oswald back.
Wait a minute.
Oh goodness.
More awkward.
Well, it's up to Mr. Schneider. This is his time. So, do you have another question, or you just want to wrap it up for now?
When you said Mr. Lou, I don't know if you saw my face with
Oh, yes. She talked about Lou Mangello. She interviewed Mr. Lou a while back.
and I know him.
Yes.
And we have
That's right.
He is.
Wow.
He is the god of us all. You know, he is.
I don't know.
And I spent today with Big Fat Panda, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure he'd say the same
only
thing.
the video.
Lou Mangello
Annoying.
is really the senior member of the club at this point.
When we talked to him many years ago, Emma was probably 12 or 13 or 14, whatever age she was. We met him at the Polynesian
Kona.
at Kona for breakfast. We were
Uh-huh.
going to do a tour with him, and it was raining like crazy. And he said, "How about I just come meet you guys for breakfast?" And we're like, "Oh, okay." But we talked and at one point I told him, I said, "You know what, Lou? I want to be you when I grow up." And it's like, to this day, I still want to be Lou when I grow up.
I got my own podcast.
He's got a great job.
I've got my own podcast that has just started running on YouTube. Called Ron Schneider's Wild Rides, in which I interview some of the people we've been talking about today, and people who, like myself, followed their bliss and made their dreams of working in the industry come true. And I've interviewed Lou Mangello. Hasn't been put up yet, but it'll be going up soon. I interviewed a lot of Disney legends and Big Fat Panda. So keep an eye out for that. I'll see you guys on Facebook, of course.
Yeah.
But check out Ron Schneider's Wild Rides. We just started posting new episodes.
We'll link it all here too and share that.
Good deal.
All right. Well, you need to say thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tyler, to be on my show.
Oh, Emma, thank you so much. I so appreciated this. You people are just wonderful, and I cannot wait to see this posted online.
It'll be Wednesday night. And we'll do our live stream. This will be the majority of the live stream. We'll do a little intro, and then it'll be a little close at the end. But yeah, we've got a lot of people I know that are excited for this. I've seen some comments already coming in. So thank you again for doing it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. You guys have a wonderful night.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye. Take care.
You too, dear.
All right.
We're back. But we won't be on for long because this was an hour. This was like 45-minute, hour and 15-minute interview.
Yeah.
But we did want to show one thing that we've shown before in the past. But this is show on the cover. This is the little golden book that Mr. Ron Schneider sent Emma after he autographed the Dreamfinder book. And Emma showed them we have 2 copies of this. But what makes this one so special, Emma? It belonged to Figment. See? That little golden book used to belong to Figment. Okay, chill out. Okay. We won't be much longer. Emma, tell them what's on next this Saturday for trivia.
No, tomorrow we have
Oh, tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow night. Oh my gosh, that's the evil laugh. Tomorrow night, Skipper Dad and Emma will be on doing what?
Me find him. Me find my boy.
Find your boy? Oh my gosh, you're so weird. All right, go ahead. I think that's it. Yes. This is what he looks like in the movie. So we'll do
physical form.
Yes, we'll do the live review. Emma wants me to do it too, but Skipper Dad will be joining, doing a live review of the Haunted Mansion. As we said, Emma and I and her dad and a friend are going to see it tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
And then, so then on Saturday, we go back to trivia. And what are we doing trivia on this Saturday, Emma?
Nemo.
Right below it.
Yeah.
We do trivia on Finding Nemo and Finding Dory.
We are what?
And then next Wednesday's reaction summer series continues with
Mr. Kevin Lively.
Former Disney Imagineer, Mr. Kevin Lively.
I had a good chat with him.
Yeah, they were texting the other day through Instagram.
Okay.
And she kept referring to him as Mr. Lively. And he says, Emma, Mr. Lively's my father. I'm just call me Mr. Kevin or something like that. And I said, that's a quote back to Crush. Mr. So-and-so's my father. And Crush, Marlon says something and then he goes, Mr. So-and-so is my father. Yeah. So, anywho, we will see y'all tomorrow evening. Share it. I'll share the post out on my page and on Emma's Facebook group, Disney Friends of All Abilities. If y'all see it,
thank you guys.
Share it to your friends. Those who really like the Haunted Mansion, those who don't. Those who are fans of Haunted Mansion, just share it for all your friends to see Emma's reaction. Yeah. Her review, her reaction to watching Disney's The Haunted Mansion. So until tomorrow night, guys.
Mama,
what do you say? Do it quickly.
Okay. And always like it. And always guys, thank you all so much for watching. Make a like, subscribe, and share this video on your social media. So tomorrow night for the review of American. Yeah, welcome. Night guys, see you tomorrow night for the review of American movie.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You're freaking everybody else out.
Yeah. What? Where is it? Oh,